to Perspective, the podcast. We're here once again on a windy and wet Thursday evening. Had a bit of a scare for some. I'm from a town that's very familiar with tornadoes, and so it really wasn't a bother. I just stepped outside, told him to chill out, and go on about his business. So thank you're welcome to everyone. Anyway, we have I think a very interesting topic tonight. I think it's gonna be a little flames going here a little bit. So I'll just introduce myself. I'm the Intellect, aka the Atlantic, aka Cullinan 8. I'm the biggest diamond ever found on the land. I'm 3,600 and something plus carats, too big to even be used. Anyway, I come to you just with the plethora of personal experiences. I've been in the staffing and recruiting industry for over 17 years. Had a lot of different conversations with people on different stages and places. Definitely volunteer in the community, so being a supporter and advisory board member on a nonprofit for financial literacy. I've been a mentor to mentees, teenage and adults, and then also do a little motivational and inspirational speaking. So that's a little bit of my background. I'm a father, grandfather. I'm kind of like Melvin on Baby Boy. Man, I didn't seen it all and done it all to the fullest. And so I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves. We'll go with Kilolo.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Key Lolo, Keisha, K Dub, whatever tickets fancy. I am a mom. I'm a grandmother. I have two grandbabies, 8 and 3. My oldest grandbaby will be 9 this month. So yay. Shopaholic, small dog lover, and I like talking cash money shit. So welcome.
All right, so I guess that leaves me. My name is Latoya. I am a licensed professional counselor, speaker, author. I wrote a fantastic book called The Wife's Guide to Beating the Side Chick. Please check that out on Amazon or my website, latoyathetherapist.com. I also have a conference coming up on March 18th. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be talking about how to get unstuck. We're going to be diving into limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, how to actually set goals that you can attain. It's going to be dope. And my husband's making the food. It's going to be a great time. You can find more information about that on my website as well. I'm super excited about tonight's show. Thank you all so much for being here. Eric, back to you.
All right, all right. Let's jump into it. The topic for this evening kind of surrounds and really I think impacts us all more so than we realize is the condition of relationships in the African American community. Mm,
Spicy.
mm. Say that again, Doc.
Spicy.
Spicy indeed. Spicy indeed. I know it's a hot topic. I've heard it discussed before. Had many of discussions on a personal level myself with individuals about this. What happened, who did it, who's to blame, who's to blame. Is it can it be turned around? All those things. So we're kind of going to touch on those topics. We have some questions, and we're going to kind of just follow that path. But don't be afraid because it will lead off into some other areas. It may start like that crack on your windshield. Starts off as a little chip, and then next thing you know, the whole windshield looked like Spider-Man spit on it. So, with that being said, I'm going to kind of go into the first question. Like at this point, how would and this is to my panelists and our viewers, like how do you rate the state of the African American relationships today?
What's the scale? Like 1 to 10? Like what's the scale?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do it from a analytical, numeric standpoint. Like, let's say one. I don't want it to be easy. Let's say 1 to 5. With one being absolutely bad, 5 being it is healthy.
Five is it is healthy. I'm gonna say three, and here's why I'm gonna say three. One, because three is not controversial; it's right in the middle. But then, like in my personal life, it's a five. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I see black men loving on black women. I see black women loving on black men. Like in my personal life, I see relationships that are working, not relationships that are perfect, but relationships that are working where people are communicating, advocating for themselves, advocating for their partners. Like it's good. You know what I mean? But then as a whole, I guess when you're looking at the news or social media or people who are not necessarily in your circle, then it's like, well, dang, what's happening? Then I remember we had that one co-host who was like, the people that he talked to, they don't want to date black women because we spicy, because we got too much lip, too much attitude. So I'm gonna say three.
Okay.
I'll say three as well, and I'm gonna say in some families I'll say maybe two. Yeah, definitely it is in the middle, and there is a lot of improvement that could be made, but in some cases, your friends that you're in a relationship with, say boyfriend or whatever, could be could treat you better than a relationship from your family.
Who eating candy?
Oh, I'm sorry, I picked up a piece of plastic and threw it away. But yeah, so I just that's how I see it.
Hmm. Yeah, I've definitely been around and been a witness of some really strong um, unions in our community. Men and women who have been married, been through ups and downs, and were able to maintain and sustain their relationship. Um, develop well-rounded children, and so that definitely exists. But as Doc kind of mentioned, on a wide scale, I think we're like a two, or even I would even say we could go. Yeah, I'd say we can go to a one. Statistics, if go look up marriages, marriage or divorce rates. It's the African American community that gets divorced at a higher rate. And then if you dig even deeper, it's like in the 80 percentile that women are filing for these divorces. And then if you go, you can hear a wide plethora. There's no way to, because it's not a monolith. I know we use that word a lot. That's because this is a point of view based platform. But we can
Yeah.
definitely dig into our experiences and what we see. And I definitely see that it's really dire, in my opinion. It's very difficult, it's very hard. And I say that, speaking as a man who has been married, who has been divorced, who has been dating, and just the encounters and the conversations that happen in that space. So I'm talking to single African American women, getting their true perspectives and ideas and points of view on it, and it's in a really bad place.
Well, I'm in that 80 of the divorce. I just wanted to be free, like Ohio plays. I want to be free. I get out of there. So yay, 80%. You're going
Yeah,
through the meat
she
like
said
I
you
was.
did.
Yeah.
Right, and
But
that's
I
yeah.
wonder. So I wonder how much of it is a black or African American problem versus a dating problem or marriage problem as a whole. Because people who are dating, from my understanding, I'm not dating, I'm happily married, but from my understanding, people who are dating are telling me it's pee in the dating pool. So if there's already pee
Shit
in the
too.
dating pool, and then we're faced with all the things that we're faced with as black people in America, like wouldn't our numbers be skewed?
No, I find that comment very interesting because if it's a person that's out there dating and they say it's pee in the dating pool, you're in that pool,
Because they're
So
dating. Like
what I no, I'm saying if you're in the pool, then I'm saying you pee too.
no,
So
No,
no, that's not
they
necessarily
just been
true.
dating.
I,
That's
I
not necessarily true because if I'm in like that's like a real swimming pool. We're in the swimming pool together, and Billy Bob start peeing. I don't know that he's peeing. I'm in the pool because it's hot outside and we swimming. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think I agree with that. With them being in the pool too, so they peeing too. I don't know that I agree with that, but I think that my bigger point was, if there's an issue with dating, and I talk to people of all races and nationalities and ethnicities and all those words, and they're all struggling to date. But some of those people don't have the hardship that we as I'm so sorry that we as African Americans have. So I just wonder if our numbers are off.
I mean, I don't think, it's not like every single, it's all about data points and, what is the data space that all of these reports are coming from? What state, which, reported it? So there's and then what timeline? Because it's not like they're doing it every 3 to 6 months or something like that. But, really just look at your own personal experience. You say you've had conversations with, a group of people, and the majority of them saying there's pee in the dating pool, or more of them saying, no, there's some really good guys. I'm just, I'm not ready, or it's just one or two things. It's not that. I think it really is going to boil down to the mindset that we're having right now. The view and the aspect that each party, the men and the women, are looking at it, and what their expectations are, because it's if we want to go into it, it's in a real flux on we have to define what a woman is in today's time, what their responsibilities are, what a man is.
I'm sorry, what their responsibilities are, what they mean.
Right. What a man is in today's society, what their responsibilities are in a union. And so, of course, my personal take on that is that, what works for you works for you. So
Right.
you can outline that. But on the topic, we kind of talked about how do we, what we felt like our rate was. Mine was probably a little lower than my co-hosts. I'm talking about, like, man, a 1.5, just to try to be nice, is where I'll land. And y'all thought about a 3. I say, so what are the main factors that have led to the current state of African American relationships?
What was the current? What they led to? What's the question again?
I said, what are the main factors that have led us to the current state of African American relationships? So what's led us to the state where there's a lot of pee in the pool? Why is it that there's the unit family? Why do we have so many single parent homes?
I think that can go so many different directions. So, like, think about income, right? And so in order for a woman to get assistance from the government, there can't be a man in the home.
Boom.
So now am I hungry, or do you go somewhere else? Well, we got these kids because you said single parent. So if we have these children, I'm not gonna let my children be hungry to let you stay at my house. Like, and you're not gonna want to stay here to you know what I'm saying, if it means the children are gonna be hungry. So I think that's an issue. I think the fact that we have so much access to different people, and like a man can have a family, hop on a plane, go see his side family, and then come back home to his original family all in the course of one day. Like, I think there's so much more access, when before, like, you had to write a letter. Oh my gosh, like snail mail. So are we together? Are we not together? You had to, like, take a horse, take a boat. Like, it took days to get to your side family. And now there's so much access. So we can go deep or we can be shallow. But either way, I think there are a lot of factors that have contributed to the state of the Black American family.
Absolutely. I would say, well, let's just pinpoint a few. Which one do we think is the most impactful? And in my opinion, you have kind of you've already mentioned it, but I'll digress and let you lead on that. So if we had to pick one, what's been the most impactful deterrent to African American men and women being together, staying together, developing a family unit, and staying in alignment in that way, in a traditional way?
Dating Caucasian women and they taking them to the sunken place.
Dare I say slavery? Like,
Like, and like that movie was it was funny, don't get me wrong, and it was good to me, but it shed a lot of light on things. Like, so a lot of times these men, they go out and get these people from other races, and they constantly tell us how good Lola is. She don't give me no talk. She's this, she's this, she's this. So I feel like in some cases it starts with the black man, because a lot of them get insulted when especially when a woman has an opinion of her own. So then they go over there to the other white meat, and then they get involved in that and then get hurt. And then next thing you know, on their Facebook, ain't nothing like my black sisters. You can go back, homie. No, you already been picked through and had. So, not solely just Caucasian women, but it's a lot of things that men say that make us not want to have a relationship with them. Some men, not all. Some men.
I
Mhm.
like that answer.
Yeah, I think the welfare system was probably the foundation of it.
I think
Like,
even before that, like the crack epidemic tore the black family up. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we
well,
just
no, that no. Well, I mean, that's one point. I'm just speaking on it, when I'm looking at it, removing a man from the home and saying he can't be there. So even the families that wanted to stay together,
right,
it was difficult to do so. And then, it's like anything. If you leave a crack for opportunity, for or space or gaps for opportunity for things to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. So they may have been just fine, but he may have lost his job. He may have got arrested. Now he has a charge and he can't stay gainfully employed. It's well documented that, like in the 60s, in the 50s and the 60s, black families were together. Um,
thriving.
Men were, I mean, it was like 73 to 76% that they, marriage, everybody was married and together and they had whole family units. But that's because the man could go out and get a job and earn a wage. Even those here's a caveat to that, even those that didn't make a major wage. So if they had a small house, we hear countless stories of, yeah, it was six of us in here, or it was five of us in here. That is absolutely unacceptable. As time went on, which is my next point, that's absolutely unacceptable. So it's not only that, because I think I saw someone commented finances as being dishonesty, and finances being key elements. That is key, because a man ultimately is a provider. So be able to provide provision, protection, problem solving, leadership. And you can't do that when you're not respected. And if you can't, you mentioned something, if my kids and they're hungry, it's like, you can't be with me, you can't be here. So you're not going to get any respect. But I think back in that day, with the respect was, that's my man. And even though he doesn't make X amount of dollars, that did not equate to the level of respect that he would receive or the importance that he brought to the household. But the second point that I'm going to make is the female revolution of independence in the early 70s, burn your bra, the change in women, really, and rightfully so, having the opportunity to go out, make a living at one point when they did, when they weren't able to do that. And so it definitely changed the dynamics, because if you got the bread, you got the power, is the way that it's looked at. And so if I'm making this amount, and that's a prevalent thing. And so you couple that with those that are on welfare and need the assistance, man can't be there. And then if you're in a position where you were able to go get higher education, you're now making more money than you ever have as a group. And if someone is not matching your money or making more than you, then you can't be in my house either. So that just leaves us at a very, very high level of percentage of disparity, where, okay, you're not going to be able to make any matches there.
I agree.
So feminism is so the welfare system, and then feminism, and if you put those two together, I think those are, it's kind of a two-headed monster that kind of keeps leading into that. But then that goes into mindset and your concept of what is the importance of a family unit. I mean, saying, we got the songs about being independent. You got songs about I don't need a man. Um, and that I mean that resonates. If you think that way,
Yeah, but
feel that way, you're gonna
I
act that
think those songs are coming from like a hurt place. I'm
Mm-hmm.
independent because you cheated on me. I'm independent because you beat me up. I'm independent because you had a family down the street. Like I don't know that those songs are like I'm independent for the sake of being independent. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think we're humans. We naturally want to be in community. We naturally want that social aspect. And I can't speak for all women, but I've always wanted to be married. And so I don't know that my independent flag is just because like yes I want to be by myself. I want to pay for everything by myself. Like when I was singing them songs real hard with my whole chest, it was because somebody had hurt me.
Mm. So you were saying it, but didn't mean it per se.
I mean I meant it at the time, but I didn't mean it for my forever, but I meant it at the time.
Gotcha. Keisha.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm just really just taking in what she just said because it's so true. Um, you know, after somebody might do you dirty or mess over you, of course, you go into that mindset of I can do what's the movie? I can do bad by myself. I can do it myself. I don't like because I liked it because it kind of it hit me a little bit. Um, like I don't care for men opening doors for me when I get in the car. It's cool, but like if it's something, I'll be like this. If it's something that you're not going to keep up for a long, long time, don't just do it when it's like date night. Don't just do it when we're going to church and you trying to high side for the brothers. So yeah, you do get in the mindset for not. You know what? Let me do it myself. Or anything. So yeah, that's where I am. That basically the same way Tori is
I'm not
explaining.
really into the car, like the car door necessarily doesn't bother me, but like going into buildings, yeah, you gonna open that door. I
Now
see.
that part again, that's different. Yeah, we ain't
And I
touching on that.
teach every little girl that's with me in the
Mm.
presence of men, we don't touch doors. We don't do that.
Mhm.
Just slide over. They'll get it.
They coming. Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I
a
mean,
lot of men, you open the door. If you open the door, a lot of men would just run right on in. Won't even say thank
Mm.
yeah. See, I can't even fathom that. I mean, in my mind, and I understand that it's some that just don't have that. But I don't. Them are not the type of birds of a feather flock together. I don't flock with those type of birds, to be quite honest.
you.
And so, and I'm a girl dad, so I open the doors for my daughters
Hmm.
to this day, and they're adults. Um, as as demonstration, but also that's just my sense of my sensibilities and it wasn't something that was necessarily like demanded from me or even demonstrated even by the men that were in my life, but um, it just made sense. Now, when it comes to the car door, as Latoya said, I can because sometimes it's not even like
Feasible.
it wouldn't even make sense to do that. It almost gets awkward and takes away from that. But if I'm in position, yeah, of course I'm going to get the door. But if
Hmm.
like, we're going in the building, we're walking together, I'm going to get the door for the lady. I'm going to get the door for any lady that's around me. I'm going to hold the door for them, let them go in, and then go about my business. They don't have to, always. Well, thank you is a good thing, and a caveat on that to kind of point to Keisha's point. Um, she mentioned like dudes who just walk on in. The responses I've seen from women when it's done, like they're surprised. But then you got to realize I'm a man. I've had a lot of conversations with the younger generations, and so it's the key thing that Latoya talked about is the pain. Everybody's coming from a hurt place, so not opening doors, not being a gentleman, not being chivalrous. That men have experienced the same type of pain or been hurt and done wrong, and I think that's them responding in that way,
Okay,
which
could be.
which kind of keeps leading us to
But
to
that keeps the cycle going. I'm
that.
hurt, you hurt, everybody hurting everybody. Like, how do you get out of that cycle?
Well, matter of
And,
fact,
and in my experience, hurt people find unhurt people and then turn them into hurt people.
Hmm.
So the hurt is just like multiplying. And so
Hmm.
it's like, at what point do you realize that the person in front of you is not the person that you're mad at? That's not the person that hurt you. And so, how will we change our mindset to like treat them differently? You know what I mean? Because if we just keep hurting people because we hurt, now everybody hurt. Now
Doc,
now the relationship has really deteriorated.
So Doc, you about to sew up the whole thing right there with that one, because I mean, I can't even think of a different point of view on that, because at some point, but we'll get to that. I don't want to jump to the end of it right here in the first quarter of the hour, but and this may be a quick answer. So, who's ultimately to blame for the current condition? I think we kind of touched on that, but who's ultimately to blame for that?
I don't think there's an ultimately to blame. I think it's a perfect storm. I think it's the perfect storm of things. I think there were several factors that added to it, and now it has become a perfect storm. And the better question is, whose responsibility is it to fix it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, let's answer that.
Oh Lord. Hold on, y'all want to hit these comments that
I know. Yeah.
Sleeping on. My bad, y'all. All right. It must be my internet because I heard you say finances and I never saw that. And then they just all popped up. Okay, lack of trust. Somebody said true Keisha.
CJ, you spelled my name wrong.
Uh-oh. How you know it's CJ?
I love you though. I looked up when I saw that comment. I looked up on Facebook and saw it.
Everybody plays a part. Okay, sorry guys. Maybe it's the wind impacting my internet. Go ahead.
Yeah, everybody does play a part in that.
Have y'all ever watched that? I'm sorry. Have y'all ever watched that episode of Martin when that man that played Big Red was on there and he was he was Santa?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you watched it, Eric?
I haven't.
Okay. So okay, you'll get this then, Toy. So I was looking at Mr. Gilliard's comment. I'm gonna open my baby door. Remember when he said, "Find my baby clown"? I don't know why I heard that when I read that. So this, sorry.
I get it.
Yeah. Moving on. Yes, Eric, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. That's fine. No, I mean, you posed a good question. Like, so who's responsible? I mean, and Doc, you can redirect me, and this is really your space. So I think we kind of mentioned everybody is responsible. Each person, because I've said this before in different forms. It's like, man, you don't look for an apology. Quit pointing the finger, and everybody needs to just stop, chill out, and let's start with a clean slate, because everybody's operating in fear. They don't want to get hurt, so that's a factor that keeps them from, being open and vulnerable to even get to a place where you're really connecting with someone or feeling safe. And I think if you go into something looking for pee, then you're gonna smell pee, find pee, and attract pee. So I think the changing of their mindsets on one, realizing that it is important, because men shouldn't think that, hey, I don't need a woman with this MGTOW and red pill mindset that they have. And women shouldn't be thinking I'm independent and I don't need a man. And understand that we're definitely better together than we are apart. But sometimes you just can't, you can't get your lick back. We always wrong. Let's start on a clean slate and let's come into it with appropriate mindset.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, this ain't really no relationship, but I guess it kind of is, because I told this woman that since she married my kid's dad, we could at least be cordial, right? And so last time I saw her, she put her hand in my face. And I was trying to speak, and she did this and said, "Going on." Ooh. Now, I want to get my lick back. Is that okay?
Yes. No.
We gonna usually the first reaction is the best.
Doc, you the therapist. I'm gonna let you. I ain't saying nothing.
Usually the first reaction is the best reaction.
That was my human reaction. I mean, that's okay.
No. Because my problem, like I told her that Barilla, I said, I did tell her, I said, I don't even know why you're still acting like this with me. Like me and oh boy, we've been divorced for 17 years. I don't want him. That's your problem. So we've had this conversation. She just constantly she's always mean to me, and I've never said anything.
Have you ever asked her why?
I guess she found that text message that my ex sent me asking could we reconcile. That was in his phone. And
lead with that.
Yeah, right.
No, I didn't think about that until you said did ask her why. I'm like, I never asked her why, but it could have been, but I don't know. It couldn't. It could be that. Then again, it couldn't be. But the problem, I know a lot of disconnect in the African American community is like when when we're dating or our significant others sometimes do something crazy, we talk about them with our friends. A lot of people talking about it with their friends, which they're going to start looking at him badly as well. So that's, that would be another breakdown. Which is, I'm saying it because I think that's what he did. He might have talked poorly about me to her, and whenever I'm at any of my nephew's football games and she shows up, she has a face like this, and she always turn her ugly lips up, and her ankles are always ashy. So I don't know. Maybe because I'm cute, and and I got a figure or something. I don't know. What y'all think probably is? I can say y'all picture and prove y'all that she is. I mean, she like you said, tree got hit in the face with every branch. Could it be that I'm just that I'm a vixen?
It really could be.
Thank you, Toy.
You're welcome. Mr. J. Gilliard said,
Yeah, I wouldn't get involved. I was trying to stay in a safe place.
So
no, you cannot get your lick back. You have to be classy.
Right.
Then said he definitely did. Yeah, he probably was talking crazy about you, and then she probably found that text message, and she just don't like you, Keith. Like, it's cool.
But that don't make sense. If he was talking bad about you, then I'd look at him. She should look at him and be like, "Okay, you talking bad about it."
Women don't think like that, child.
Then you go, but you want to reconcile with him. What's the deal here? Yeah, and it's more predicated off of mostly emotions and not.
Hey guys, look who's back.
Yeah,
I know. Where you been?
Hey,
Honey Black, where you been at?
Yeah, where you been, big homie?
That's what's up. So, so we talked about who to blame. In my point of view, people
who
have
to fix it. I honestly think that people have to decide it's a problem. I don't think people think it's a problem.
A good point,
We live in an era of love, and I ain't saying I don't agree. I'm just saying this is the era that we live in. We live in a love who you love. Everybody's free to be me. Like, that's the type of thing. That's like the mindset that we're living in now. So people have to decide that the state of relationships in the Black community is an issue before it can even be addressed. I do think Black men need to take the lead because I'm tired of everything being on Black women. Like, y'all do something.
That's true.
Men typically.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah, like, hold on. In an overwhelming amount, men are the ones who propose. Now, there's some women out there getting on one knee. I don't really support that, but do what you do. If y'all are the ones asking to get married, y'all got to look at who y'all asking.
No, very much so. But I'm leading into that. Definitely is a great segue into my question or my comment. So the breakdown of structure, because everybody's doing what they want to do in all these different ways. I think when you don't have any structure, any order is the word I'll use. When you don't have any order, you're just going to have chaos. You can't have anything with, you just said men lead, then I think they should be allowed to lead, because leadership is
they not got to be worthy.
No, hold on. That's my point. That's where it gets so very difficult. It's like you got to make up your mind. Okay, yes, that's leading. Then a woman can choose: is he the type of man that I would lead? That I would follow? If he's not, then don't even get with him, because women are definitely, because women don't have kids by themselves. I mean, unless they go to the clinic and things like that. But they're that you're laying down, having sex with the man, but he ain't worthy to follow, or he doesn't produce, he doesn't protect, he doesn't problem solve, and he doesn't lead. So if he's not doing that, what are you doing? Your responsibility on selecting that. Because women, it's a movie called My Big Fat Greek Wedding. There's a scene where the daughter, very machismo, man at the head of the family, nobody makes a move without his okay on it. They own a restaurant. His daughter works in the restaurant, but she's very smart. She can do much more. She wants to go to school, do all that thing. She go to her mother. She's frustrated. The mother says, she's like, my dad will never let me go. He's just not going to do it. She was like, hold on. called the husband over, and had a conversation in a way so I won't go so long to convince him that it's his idea that the daughter should go to school, right? So the daughter gets to go, and she's looking at the mom like, "How you do that?" She say, "Listen, your father is the head, but the wife, we the neck that turns that head."
Absolutely.
And I thought that was so accurate. My point is, women have the influence. They have the influence. They can, if they said, "I'm not giving no sugar box to no man that ain't taking care of his business. I don't give a damn how fine you are. I don't give a damn what your stroke look like. I don't give a damn what your stroke feel like. If you're not taking care of basic needs, functioning in the proper manner of a man who provides, protects, problem solves, and leads, you ain't getting none, no attention. All men would start moving and operating in that way to get your attention.
Broke
So,
boys don't deserve no coochie.
I know that's right.
I just had to
no, or the attention, or the nurturing, or the compliments that rub on the head to say, "Baby, it's gonna be all right." That'll give a man the strength to go out and pick up a car that he couldn't before. Like power, real power, and it's been destroyed again. I think by the welfare and by the feminist movement. So a return to that, but like you said, Doc, got to understand that that is an issue.
Can I just say, like, I agree for the most part. I'm with you. And if he's not worth leading, don't follow, don't entertain with it, cool. But I also think that as Black women start to elevate and rise, Black men need to also rise to the occasion. And I'm not saying that men go out and get a degree to match my degree. I'm not saying that men go out and do what I'm doing. I'm saying be able to meet me at an intellectual place. Be able to meet me at a place to where, okay, even if I make the money, you're still doing X, Y, Z, and so I'm a lead, and nobody ever has to know that I make more money. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I think people put so much value on the dollar, and like, well, he ain't got no money, he can't lead me. Okay, well, sis, girl, you got 45 degrees, you make the money. I literally told a client that. I was like, girl, you just make the money and go get your man. You love him. Like, he doing 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, but because you make this and he make this, you're gonna let it go? Like, that's dumb. She is so happy, and they have been married for 3 years. So all that to say,
But you had to tell her. You had to tell her that. You had to tell her that.
Yes.
Okay. No,
She
no,
all crying. She, girl, get your man. You like, what we doing? Why we doing this?
No, this is scary to hear, Doc, because but what was her disconnect with him? Because he didn't have the degrees and make the money she made.
Right.
Wow. When y'all have your next conference, you need to bring her up and use her as an example. You need to get the word out, man.
I would never
fact, you
her.
got your conference coming up. For those who just came in, the conference is coming up.
I'm
gonna stand up and be like, what about what? I'm gonna bring it up. We going
you better not. You better not embarrass her like that. No.
We're gonna get unstuck up in here. I don't know her name. I don't know her name.
But she's gonna be
so
anyway, the point is
deal.
The point is, I think that money is important. We live in America. I live in America. We need money to live. We damn near need money to breathe air. So money is important. I'm not saying money's not important, but I'm saying if you make enough to sustain, you can't not follow him because of his salary. Like, Black women, we're just more educated as a whole than Black men. And so allegedly degrees mean you have more money. That's not always the case. But the point is that all the emphasis can't be on money if he's doing everything else.
Right. Definitely mean you got more debt though.
And so if you make the money, but he's checking all the other boxes, he's still worth following. I just don't be understanding. Like,
that's good, Doc. I appreciate it.
Now he got to check every other box.
Oh, see that. See, you was good, and then you went.
I was just trying to bring a little comic relief. But nah, if he's checking 90% of the boxes and you make more, but it's not that he doesn't make anything. I'm not saying go get somebody out the street. Yeah. I'm just saying, he got to be bringing something. But I told her, girl, get your man. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, let's
What's
read.
wrong?
Let's
They've been
read
married
some
for
of these
3 years.
comments. That's what's up, Doc.
And
You all right, Doc? All right,
she
Doc.
emails me every year on their anniversary. She is so happy. But anyway, let me get these
Saving
comments.
lives, saving lives. Look at you. You done
One
already
session
put a
at a
dent in
time,
the
baby.
topic. You done already put a dent in the topic. Let's
Okay.
read some of the comments.
Yeah,
Then
go ahead.
I think Keisha may want to respond. Did you want to respond, Keisha?
No.
But, 100 Black says, I think we were thrown an economic facade that carried on for the last 80 years that caused complacency in family structure. So now we are we're at a
At a
loss
loss
of
of
integrity.
integrity.
Say the sugar box, right? I mean, that sugar box got power. It just do. It gets really deeper psychologically.
Okay.
And
Amen,
Mr.
Doc.
Gill, you said,
Thank you,
"Amen,
boo.
Doc."
Thank you, boo. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I mean that's a skewed response, but I'll digress. So no, so Doc, don't look at me like that.
Cause what you
Facebook, you
mean
said,
is cute.
oh, okay. So what it do, peeps? Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Facebook user. Let's see who that is. I'll be right back.
All
Yeah,
right.
go look and see.
So now I guess so who has been here's a different twist on it. So we
What
kind of
happened?
understand that it's that we're not in the healthiest place that we can be. So
Sure.
who would you say, like, who has benefited from the changes, like from the decline? Who's been the greatest beneficiary from the changes and the decline of the African American relationship?
Everybody except black people.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse
Keisha
me.
made a great point. Go ahead, Keisha.
Hey, Andre. That's Andre. Andre Brown.
Hey, what's up, Dre?
Where's
Yeah.
A Trap?
It's that good
Oh,
man.
probably somewhere asleep, girl.
Oh,
Say 100 Black says I start back at the Black Wall Street era moving forward. The psychological and social damage knocked us off axis.
yep. We said that. I mean, we
Yeah, and
said
it was everybody's bringing up really good points. It was a multi-pronged attack. It feels like.
I feel like attack is a really good word.
Yeah, I definitely
Seems
feel
pretty
that.
accurate too. I don't, yeah.
Absolutely. So but I know broadly you said everybody, everybody
but us.
I don't even know. We built this country. We are really the backbone. I don't care what anybody says. If you want to look at who has been a contributor to the society from an industrial standpoint, Black people. From a medical standpoint, Black people. Eric, what do you mean medical standpoint? Man, the first heart surgery was performed by a Black man. What is the name?
Henrietta Lacks.
Boom, you hit it right on the nail. You just look her up, you'll understand. She has they did a biopsy on her, and her cancer cells are like nobody else's, and it has led to the cure for polio. Am I right, Doc? And other research that has just changed the world. So and her people don't get nothing from it. They ain't benefited. They fought it.
They barely got recognition
There you go.
last year.
Exactly. So
Eric, I know about Henrietta Lacks too.
Go right ahead, Keisha.
Am I right, Doc?
No, because Doc knew her name. So that's my bad.
Yeah, I'm just messing.
I mean, no harm. So I'll let you have it, Keisha. Other
I'm through. I was just fixing the matter with you. But am I right, Doc? Yeah, I'm just meddling.
All right, that'll work. So I mean, just a lot of contributions that we've made to the country, but and despite the attacks and the division, because even the setup of welfare wasn't even for Black people, and then once Black people, we weren't even allowed to gain the benefits. This is in the throughout the 30s, the mid to late 30s, leading up to today, and then I think around the 60s and the 70s. When Black people started getting the assistance, they made all these adjustments and restrictions. One being that the Black one parent could be in the home, or a substitute parent had to be in the home, meaning the man, so you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
be there. And then they come run your life, tell you what you can't have, tell you you're making too much money because you're working two jobs,
Yep.
that type of thing, just keeping you in the box. But I
Mm-hmm.
digress.
This is true. This is true, but they don't want you to, like Toya said, get on no kind of assistance or anything. Like that was one of the hardest no's for me when they denied me food stamps.
Mm.
Like what? Y'all told me no, So it's like I don't know, but that was a long time ago. So I don't have nobody here to see but me. That I'm only here, but yeah, but they won't. They are just the society, whatever the state, whoever. Everybody's to blame, and you just don't have any. I don't know. I don't think they have any sympathy for anybody, or try to have any type of understanding. Like now, it seems like when you file your income taxes, it's like now everybody owes just about.
Mm.
Yes, that's another impact. I mean, getting ahead, that's another thing I think in African American community, and it also hits the relationships is the mentality. 100 Black kind of hit it. He says it's very psychological. Like even if
Mm-hmm.
you're found out to be getting help, being ridiculed for getting assistance or getting help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looked down upon. But it's interesting because it's kind of celebrated. You got to even have generations. It's like, no, you go get you a project, get on what is it, TANF? Go get TANF and get this and do that. And don't you be doing too much. And yeah, go and have another baby because you'll get this much. I mean, conversations like that. It's really strange.
Yeah.
It's like we have two worlds within our own community because we have the highly degreed all the degrees, got all the money, you know,
Mm-hmm.
segment. And then you have those that, man, I ain't getting no job. Job ain't nothing but work type of demographic. And they won't do anything. So they can't connect with each other. But that's crazy. 100 Black said had to go back and work for those white folk. That did hurt us. That hurt us real bad.
Uh-huh.
That hurt us real bad. Because I mean, if you don't have any independence, if you don't have say so, it limits you in so many ways. And you can definitely find a lot of information, content. Powernomics is a book that speaks to that and how we got into this condition. And I think it actually hits on African American family and how it destroyed the family as well. And I hate that the author, his name misses me right now for Powernomics. But nevertheless, um, so I guess right now, and we kind of touched on it a little bit to kind of head us into the last portion.
Mm-hmm.
What's the main action needed to turn it all around? Doc said for everybody
Decide it's a problem.
to decide. So let's dig into that.
Yeah, because I think that so from an individual perspective, like at my house, I'm married to a Black man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our friends are Black people married to Black people. So if we weren't who we were, it would be easy for us to be like, oh, this isn't really an issue. Like everybody we know, like, everybody Black married Black. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that people have to decide that it's a problem. Like how do you even get to that place? Is it from a place of research? Is it from a place of talking to other people? Is it from a place of getting frustrated seeing interracial couples? I don't know. But I think before anything can be done, it has to be determined that it's a problem. Because
Yeah.
until it's a problem, nobody's looking for a solution.
I agree with that. I do. I was thinking sometimes a lot of people always want to blame the man for our issues. Um, they're not always to blame.
A lot of them, but not all of them.
Not all of them, right? So it's like, no, you have to look at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror to understand who really made your own issues and your problems. So yeah.
I think a mindset, I guess from a different point of view, the mindset of in relationships, everybody's looking at what they can get or what they're going to receive instead of going into it of what they can provide and what they can deliver and what they can, I'm going to say it, what they can bring to the table.
Y'all know I hate that table.
I
get it. I get why it's there. But God,
Right.
I hate that table.
Because the table that some of these men are bringing them broke down tables from when the guys were slamming dominoes on. It's never a good. It's mostly never a good table.
I mean, if they, if they had a good woman that could wipe it off, it'd be
White,
good.
white.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I also think that if you come at it from the aspect of, and I get it, y'all. I'm not saying that we got to be in relationships where we're not getting our needs met. I'm never saying that. But if you go at it from a perspective of what do you bring to the table, then it becomes a business transaction. There is no love. And listen, me and my husband have a business meeting every week, like what we got to pay, who, what the kids got to do, who's going to the dentist. So I think there's room for that. But I think that if we really want the family unit to come back, there has to be like more love, more feeling.
More
And when you
partnership.
say
I think more
partnership, yeah, like, and when you're like, well, what you bringing to the table? Like, what can I get? Don't nobody want to put their cards on the table with that
This is
type of
true.
attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to know what I'm bringing to the table with that nasty attitude.
Nasty attitude. So you keep
So
whatever it is you get.
let me paint a scenario. Met someone, new burgeoning relationship. You decide you want to be in a committed relationship and start, looking to be serious and tie your lives together. Um, and I'm not going to say which person, just one of them says, okay, well, hey, let's get together tomorrow. We're going to sit down. You open up your financials. I'm going to open up my financials, see where your credit is, mine, what's going on. So we can start looking to consolidate and see how we can start working that out so we can help each other. Like you said, somebody may have all the degrees and make a lot. Somebody, hey man, I'm a non-exempt employee. Hey, I work hourly. I ain't doing well unless I get overtime, and sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high. So you got that situation, and then someone's like, "Oh no, I'm not, I don't want to do that." How do we? To me, that's like, what do you? That's another form of what do you bring to the table? It's like, what do you like? Because someone say, "I don't have a job, I don't work, but." I can be a great assistant. And that let's be real about it. If you have a man that's he don't even he runs a business. Let's say he's an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing that would help him is a spouse who has the capacity and the mindset and the willingness to come in and assist. Like on what's the movie with Whitney and
Waiting to exhale.
Waiting to exhale. Like the woman, she helped that man build the company, right? Like I hate it
He was
because
his lover
that
and
has happened before.
secretary
Yeah, right.
every day of the week.
But they've had people who've done that and they've done very well together. It wasn't like they didn't have to burn the car and he left, and then not only left who left him when he got a white woman. I was mad right along with him, but that's just me. But in
He
those
had it before he left.
but in those terms, it gets, you want to have those discussions because I think relationship is not all the way. You mentioned love, Doc, but I think we've said this in other programs. It's like a decision. You want to make sure you're linking yourself up with someone where it's going to be a contribution, like alignment in your beliefs and your values and where you want to go and how you think and how you move. You mentioned it today. You say, hey, me and my husband, we have a meeting. And hey, what are we doing? Who you doing? Because that could change from day to day. Someone, like people looking for, I want 50-50. Or I'm not, it's never 50. It changes every day. One day you may be 80. One day you may be, 90. One day it
One
may
day
be
you might be the whole 100.
There you absolutely.
This is true. This is
absolutely.
true.
So when people talk about what you bring to the table, I say instead of getting mad, man, just talk about what you bring to the table. It'll help identify, okay, we are not aligned. I ain't what you're looking for and you're not what I'm looking for. And then we can go our separate ways.
I think the problem is no one's talking about what we're actually bringing to the table. Everybody's talking about money. Mm-hmm. Even in your example, you said, let's talk about the finances. Mm-hmm. So what if, and this is where people get it wrong, in my opinion. If a person makes 100,000, but they owe 80, they really only made 20. And if this person makes 30,000 and they owe nobody, they actually made their 30,
They
right?
made the 30.
So
Yeah.
they actually have more than the person with the bigger pay. Like everybody's talking about money, but there are things in a relationship that are like the intangibles, the things that you can't really put your finger on, but you know them when you see them. Nobody ever talks about those things.
Man, but you know them.
You know them when you see
You
them,
know them when you
and
see
you
them.
know them when you feel them. Like for me, it's food. Flat out. Feed me. Like my love language is lemon pepper chicken wings, all flat, fried hard. That is my love language. That's it.
That
And
can
be
be fried
respectful.
hard.
And
That is
another
it.
example of what I'm talking about. So to take the finances, but I don't care what you like. You said we had money is you almost got to have money to breathe. So you're not saying don't talk about that and concern yourself.
I'm never saying that. I'm
Right.
never saying that. I'm saying talk about the other stuff too. Because
Absolutely.
we all know people who got money and are very unhappy.
Well, that's what I mean by beliefs, values. Like I know y'all had to have a conversation. Well, I'm not going to talk about your business, but you gave a great example earlier when your conference. Who's catering the conference?
My man, my man, my man, my man.
If that ain't, and you are a therapist, you have your own business, and that is in support of that.
Yeah.
There are times that he's going to carry other things to support your business and where you're going. And then with him being a chef, I'm pretty sure it's vice versa as well. So having that conversation and really saying, okay, well, is this in alignment with my life and where we're going? Do you have those skill sets? And not only the skill sets, because that's true, you need to know if they can do the thing, but do you have the willingness? Because it ain't gonna always be fun. Because it's gonna be times you're gonna go and be supportive when you like, I hate being here. But you gotta act like you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
you're
right
right,
now, the Black community, and I'm gonna tell you, I believe in the white communities, Hispanic, Asian, they already know it. They go in it with the understanding, and they not sizing that up. Not every last one of them, but the majority. I'm saying yes. I said we can go look at any statistic in relationships and
you're right,
survey.
but they also had a better setup. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they had a better head start than we did as Black Americans. I'm not talking about people from other countries. I'm talking about Black Americans. I think they had a better start to it than we did, and I feel like we're playing catch up. And so, to my original point, we have to decide that we want to play catch up.
Yeah.
Yep. So the one, admit that there's an issue. Two, as once we realize it's an issue, be strategic about teaching that value and that mindset. And it's gonna start with the kids, because right now, many Black women, everybody ruined right now. Black women, Black men.
He said run.
He said run.
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 Okay, we are skating on.
All right, let's do the comments and then we can we probably should have a part 2 to this one. This one was good. Go ahead, E.
What do you want to what? My final comments?
I want you to read the comments.
Read the comments.
Read
the comments.
It
was your final
Mr.
comment.
J. Gilliard says communication and cohesiveness. Oh, I like that word. Mr. Gilliard, 100 Black says today we must have a balance in making it work based on the times toward making it work for the children. The best thing is mutually focusing on an investment. Two people must be connected through. Okay. And relationship is love and practicality and transparency. That's good.
Heavy on the transparency.
100 Black say, you three need to have a call-in date for your channel.
100 Black, you want to be a co-host? You want to come? You want to hang out with us?
You can certainly come hang out with us. Just let us know.
Bring to witch.
You say, bring the witch talk. Yours or ours.
Maybe they meant table.
Which table? Yours or ours? Okay. 100 Black says, better eat them beans. He said yes. Okay. Table. He meant table. Yeah. Yeah. And that's. But I think it's a good speaking point. I think we get caught up on some of the nuances of it that keeps us divided. But I think the key points that we would take away is, one, the most important thing is everybody admitting and accepting that there is an issue, and then also being strategic about taking the steps to change that mindset and project that, teach that. But I think if we spread it, you get the right individuals to say the right thing, to promote that, then it can happen. And then, of course, I'll let my co-host follow up with their final thoughts.
Go ahead, Key.
Oh, I'll go last. You go ahead.
I want to say thank you all for being here. I agree with Eric. Come to my conference March 18th. You know, don't meet me there, beat me there. And Key, close it out.
Yeah, thank y'all again for another wonderful topic. We did say we're going to do a part 2. Have we decided that yet?
I think we
probably
should.
do. Yeah, I think we should do part 2 and look into, I guess, getting a way for people to call in. But have a beautiful evening. And just in case you didn't know, if we owe you something, we ain't got it. But if you need it, get it from God.
You are now tuned to